Good afternoon. You're tuning in to the Board of County Commissioners meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. It is 2 p.m. This meeting is being televised. For public attendance, you may follow along on the Thurston County YouTube channel or join by calling 360-252-9020, PIN number 1234. I am Carolina Mejia, Chair of the Board. I am joined by Vice Chair Ty Menser, as well as Commissioner Gary Edwards, County Manager Ramiro Chavez, and Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell. Today we'll start, I'm calling this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Okay, please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Have to move my screen. Okay, thank you. Okay, and Vice Chair Menser, would you like to do a land acknowledgement?
Thank you. Yes. We would also like to start today's meeting with a land acknowledgement and acknowledge the Indigenous Salish peoples who have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Okay, next, the approval of the Tuesday, March 1st, 2022 agenda. Is there a motion?
And yes, can I clarify with the county manager that the agenda has, we made an amendment this morning to remove an item?
Yeah, that has been already addressed, and we also remove a couple of more items. They have been moved to next week. So if you, with your approval of your agenda, reflects the latest changes.
Okay, can you just identify for me which items were removed?
Yeah, we moved the Thurston Thrives contract to next week, and we also moved the two Polar Works items related to franchise utilities. They're also moved to next week.
Okay, thank you. I would move for approval of today's proposed agenda for Tuesday, March 1st, 2022.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No,
I'll
ma'am.
call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Commissioner Menser.
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, it's the approval of the board meeting minutes from February 22nd, 2022. And with those, I'm not sure if my seatmates have seen it. I just saw them today.
Did we get him right?
And Commissioner Menser, you were excused last week. So with that, is there a motion?
Well, tell me this, if you just saw them today, why don't we just approve them next week?
I'm fine with that.
What do you think, Commissioner? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. And everybody has a chance to review them well. Okay.
So with that, we will be moving the board meeting minutes from February 22nd, 2022 to next week, which is March 8th. I only saw my signature on there, so that's why I wanted to bring it up to the rest of the commissioners.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, it's an opportunity for the public to address the board, and there are some guidelines for public comments. So the Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. General speaking guidelines include: please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. The board does not respond to public comments on a need basis. The county manager will follow up with specific items. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. The board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address the meeting for good cause. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outburst of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal. Thank you so much for your cooperation. And with that, I'll hand it off to the county manager to call citizens that would like to provide public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to be calling members of the public based on the order that I see on the Zoom screen. First, I have Ms. Cami Rowe. Please go ahead and mute yourself. You have 4 minutes, ma'am. You'd like to provide testimony this afternoon?
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, board. My name is Shami Rao with the address 1620 74th Avenue Southwest, Tongato, Washington, 98501. I represent the Oyo Hotel. Since English is my second language, it is difficult to find the correct words to express myself in English. So I will try my best and I would appreciate your understanding. When the county approached me in summer of 2020 to sign a lease for COVID-19 isolation facility, I volunteered to accommodate the county's needs, the need of the community while we were going through the worst time of COVID in 2020. We had a good working relationship until early in February when a guest broke his toilet off the wall, causing his room to flood. We stopped the flooding, but needed to hire a professional cleaner to ensure mold did not become a problem. The county refused to pay, even though the contract clearly reads, tenant shall be liable for any damages to the hotel during its tenancy. Instead, they told me the flood was my fault and they were going to terminate the contract early. I don't understand this since I got an inspection by plumbers and a plumbing engineer. And they have stated the pipe break was caused by what the guest physically did. Why is the county refusing to fix the damage caused by their guest when the contract says they are liable for the damage to the hotel? How do they expect me to get the funds at such short notice when the insurance is in the county's name? Now they're refusing to pay February's bill. This is very difficult for me. Due to county's fault, my staff, my husband, and myself were exposed to a COVID contaminated room during past inspection because the county staff did not clearly label the unsanitized rooms from the clean rooms. To better protect us for the final inspection, I asked last Friday, February 25th, for the certification that the facility was cleaned by CDC guidelines, that all areas of each room were cleaned following these guidelines. I was told that they would give it to me. We proceeded to inspect rooms and we found underwear and other garbage in the sofa bed, dirty ring inside the toilet, marks of blood, urine, and feces on beds, which made it evident that the deep cleaning was not made me doubt if proper COVID-19 sanitization was thoroughly done. The next day, Saturday, February 26th, right before another fire inspection, I asked again for the certification that the sanitization was done per CDC guidelines, and the county rep told me such documentation was not available until Monday. As of now, some cleaning has been done, but I'm still waiting for this certification to complete the final inspection. Per contract, it is required for the county to provide it to me. It is important for me to have this in my hands before I can safely put my staff and guests back in the hotel. I am scrambling to figure out what I need to do to recommission the facility as hotel business in the most effective and timely manner, and I'm not finding the cooperation by the county staff. As an immigrant family, we have worked very hard to achieve the American dream, but now it feels like my life is shattering. I'm making effort to do my part, but the county staff is not.
Please
Why-
wrap it up, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
your time is up.
I'm sorry?
Your time is up. Please wrap it
I'm
up.
almost done, please. Why is the county making me prove that their guests broke the toilet just because the guests seem too weak per their visual judgment? Why should a toilet pipe be snapped? I comply the requirements of the agreement. Then why are they unwilling to fulfill their terms of the contract?
Ma'am, please wrap it up. Your time is up.
Yeah, okay, I'm done. Final sentence.
Yeah.
As an immigrant who has moved from Korea to Paraguay, from there to the US, I firmly believe in equity and feel that I have been treated unequally. I surely hope this incident is not because of my race and ethnicity. However, I cannot help thinking that my ethnicity and race is the cause. Can you please, county commissioners, help me for the county to live up to its term of the contract and make me believe that what's going on is not due to my ethnicity and race. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let me follow up, if I may, Commissioner Mejia, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, County Manager.
Yeah, Ms. Rowe and I specifically have been communicating about this matter. This is related to a contract issue, and we'll continue to work through the contract-related matters as relates to this issue. So, and in fact, I just received another letter from you, Ms. Rowe, so we'll continue to work related to contract-related issues, as you stated. Thank you. Next, I have on my Zoom screen is Ms. Chris Ria. Ria?
Oh, yes, hi,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Go
it's
ahead, ma'am.
Ray.
Go ahead, you have 4 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to speak. I really just came to listen to what you were going to talk about.
Okay.
However, I am a recipient of rental assistance through the CAC LMT, and this latest suspension that just came about is really hurting people like me. So I'm wondering, when do you think you're going to get this settled or sorted out? And I've written all of you.
Maybe I can follow up, Madam Chair. I know that it's unusual to this, but I will ask you permission to do this.
Okay, County Manager.
Yeah, thank you. If you can leave me your name and phone number, I will have public health staff to reach out to you, ma'am.
Okay, how do I do that? I don't see a chat.
Let me give you my email address.
Are you Romero?
Yeah.
I've already emailed you, so I will email you again.
Yeah, I believe that I responded to you as well, right?
I didn't know, I received no responses from any of the BoCC or otherwise.
Okay. So if I have your email, I'll make sure the staff will follow up with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next, I have Mr. Dale Clark.
Yes, thank you. I have no comments today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Faith Arcott. I apologize for the last name if I don't pronounce it correctly.
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Romero. I'm just here to observe as well. I appreciate the time offer.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Gregory Moe. Greg? Okay. Next, I have Mr. Joe Hanna. Mr. Hanna?
No comments today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. John Pettit.
You can hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. My name is John Pettit. I live out in East Olympia, 9725 Rich Road. I have lots of water in my field today. We have some flooding. I previously today, I sent in some, a couple of my issues that I wish to talk about today for public comment. And while they won't exactly align with how that was put on there, I'm going to pose the direction and comments according to how I believe needs to be done. One of the things I think you as commissioners have to recognize is we live in a world of what we call checks and balances. You don't cover each other's back. You're there individually to represent us, the citizens out here who have elected you into the positions you're in. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because when somebody's doing something wrong at the county level, there are certain provisions that are supposed to be followed. Now, whether a person realizes it or not, when you see something wrong, under your county policies, employee policies, it says procedures for reporting. An employee who becomes aware of improper governmental action should report the action to either Human Resources or Prosecuting Attorney's Office. If the employee reasonably believes the improper governmental action involves both Human Resources and Prosecuting's Office, or that reporting to those entities would be inappropriate, the employee may report the action to the Chief Administrative Officer. Now, I realize that this is a county employee policy. Where's the provision for the public? Because what I'm going to talk about is clearly a violation of different parts of the law. Under that same Thurston County Personal Rules and Policies, page 44, you'll find a spot that talks about political activity. Political activities of employees shall comply to all applicable federal and state laws or regulations. That's pretty simple. It's not difficult. And here's a particular state law that we need to talk about. Public service announcements. No state elected official or municipal officer, that would be such as all of you commissioners, may speak or appear in a public service announcement as broadcast, shown, or distributed in any form whatsoever during the period during January 1 and continuing through the general election if that official or officer is a candidate. Now, the one I'm complaining about here is Commissioner District 3, Mr. Ty Menzer. Now, it may be, I could be wrong. It appears he's running for office, but if he is running for office, he's in direct violation by using a county website, Facebook, and using it for his political purpose. The sad reality is you as the other commissioners, you as the county manager over there, have a responsibility to hold him accountable to the policies and the law. So far, I'm not seeing anything. I've informed Mr. Menzer numerous times. What's really sad is you have a county employee underneath him that's posting this information. So the county is helping to pay for his political campaign activities. This is wrong. It's your job to stop it from happening. Mr. Menzer needs to pay the costs involved with the process of the money that's been paid to this employee to advertise. So all of that being said, I'm going to give it back, and I'm going to suspect that you're going to follow up. Doesn't stop me from filing the public disclosure violations.
Please wrap it up, sir.
I will wrap it up. And just as a second note, I like your instructions are supposed to talk there to the commissioners, but it's notable, commissioners, that you have made a point that you won't be responding to us. You're our employees. You need to be responsive. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I have Ms. Tambra Donahue. Okay. Next, I have Mr. Tony Wilson.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to speak today.
Go ahead, sir. Have 4 minutes.
I have a couple of things. One of them has been kind of eating at me for a while watching these meetings. I don't come into the meetings. I watch them sometimes on video or live when I have time. And I listen to the premise set by the chair that's been the same comments for as long as I've been attending or looking at these meetings online about what's acceptable and not acceptable from the public in speaking. And I would encourage you to read that for real and stop people when they cross those lines, because they do. And it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate to be attacking and defamatory and all these things that you mention and then don't enforce. I really would encourage you to enforce them. The other thing is, I also watched the video of last week's meeting, and apparently 3 members of the Ag Advisory Committee have quit, offered resignations. I've asked around and found out 1 is a farmer member and 2 are non-farmer members. And they all had remarks about why they left. I would encourage you, and I want to say this, I am not, in a personal sense, not partisan. I have a partisan position in my politics. And I don't believe that advisory committees ought to be of one bent or another. I think there ought to be a mix of people on advisory committees. That way you get a balanced view of what's happening in the county that you're governing. When you have people walk away from an advisory committee because they can no longer do it, you have to look at whether that committee is being responsive to the needs of the county, whether it's doing its job, and consider whether you should address that all the way through. Consider whether you should rewrite the policy on a particular committee or set of committees, because some of those policies that you're working from were written in the 1970s. And I think Thurston County was a little bit different culture when I was 20 than it is now. And so it might behoove you to look at the policy, write it up differently, and make everybody sign on that line instead of the one line from 1970, whatever it is, 4 or 5. Anyway, those are my comments for today. I respect you all. I know you work hard at your jobs, and I just wanted to offer those comments. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anybody else on the Zoom screen, so let me go over to the conference call. Good afternoon for those members of the public who have joined us via conference call this afternoon. If you like to provide public testimony, please unmute yourselves, state your name, where you reside in the county. You have 4 minutes. No, ma'am, that will conclude our public testimony.
Thank you. Can the timer be removed from the screen? Okay. With that, we will move on to county manager's update.
I don't have a specific updates to follow up with you, Madam Chair, with the board.
Okay. With that, item 3 is consent items A through D. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve consent items 3A through 3D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this? Okay, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Next, we'll move on to department items. First up is central services, item 4A, and it's the request for proposals for Atrium furniture, fixtures, and equipment. And I do not see Christopher. Robin, will you be?
I see Chris Hilmer.
Oh, there we go. Chris.
Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Please go ahead. Do you have a camera on?
I do not.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the RFP for furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the 3000 Pacific Avenue leased project. It is full and open competition. We hope to award by April the 15th of 22. Anything else you need from me?
Questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay. With that, is there a motion?
I move to authorize the Director of Central Services to advertise a request for proposals for furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the Atrium located at 3000 Pacific Avenue Southeast, Olympia, Washington.
And I'll second. Is that right, Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Nay.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Next item is item 4B, contract award for project development study. And I'll pass it back to Chris.
And Chris, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm sorry, Robin. My name is Chris Helmer. I'm a capital project manager 3 for Central Services. This is a project development study to determine the scope of work, the cost, schedule, and phasing and coordination for the renovation and reconfiguration of buildings 1 through 6. We had full and open competition on this. We have selected a contractor vendor. It is DLR Consultants out of Seattle, Washington, and we are ready to move forward if approved.
Thank you. Questions? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion?
Move to award a contract for project development study to DLR Group in the amount of $250,000 and authorize the Assistant County Manager to execute the amendment and future amendments that do not exceed 10%.
For a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, sir.
I would just like to point out to the public that if they're interested in some of these topics, such as this one, as we go through, you might want to review our 9 o'clock agenda setting meeting that took place this morning. And we have more in-depth discussions at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Motion passes. Now to item 5A, which is from the Commissioner's Office. Set a public hearing for ordinance to expand the Board of Health members for RCW 70.05.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me provide you with a little bit of a background related to this item. RCW 70.05.030, as amended by Engro Substitute Second House Bill 1152, which it comes effective July 1st, 2022, and which directs the Board of County Commissioners to expand the composition of the local Board of Health to include persons who represent community interests, such as public health, healthcare facilities, providers, consumers of public health, and other community stakeholders, and a tribal representative. In accordance with RCW 70.05.030, this proposed ordinance before you outlines the Board of County Commissioners' desires to increase the Board of Health to 8 members. They will be effective July 1st, 2022, to include representation by cities, tribes, and individuals representing public health and other stakeholders. The State Board of Health intends to adopt rules in Chapter 246-90 of the Washington Administrative Code by July 25th, 2022, establishing requirements for the recruitment, selection, and appointment of the local Board of Health members who are not elected officials. Expansion of the Board of Health will allow for involvement on a greater number of persons in the setting health policies throughout Thurston County. Also, the expanded Board of Health will increase community representation to help address public health disparities in Thurston County. In accordance to RCW 700530, which will be effective in 2022, this ordinance is an attempt to meet that particular requirement. And this particular item before you is before you consider approving this ordinance. My ask is for you to set a public hearing for Tuesday, March 22nd of 2022, 3 in the afternoon or soon thereafter in this boardroom, for you to consider and taking public testimony related to this particular expansion of the Board of Health. And I open for any questions.
Questions?
No, ma'am, we've had a lot of discussion over the past year on this issue, so thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Munster?
County Manager, so it will be made clear, I hope, I'm asking, that the expansion of the Board of Health is mandated by state law, and therefore the public comment would be about the particular choices being made regarding our particular proposal for that expansion. Is that correct?
That is absolutely on point. Is at this point, the board has an option to have a larger representation. At this point, in this particular ordinance, is up to 8 members, which includes the 3 Board of County Commissioners, 1 representative from the city, which is going to be on a rotation basis between the larger cities of Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater, and Yelm. And their service will be on a 2-year rotation basis. It also includes representation from a member of the public health industry, as well as an individual who uses the public health services, and a tribal representative. So that's the makeup of the 8 members. And the statute is very clear that you cannot have, my words, a lopsided board. There is more board of elected officials than citizen representatives. So this 8-member proposal addresses the intent of the new law. And again, is the Engross Second Substitute House Bill 1152, which passed in 2021.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions?
No, ma'am.
With that,
No.
I'm ready for a motion.
No, ma'am.
Oh, with that, I'm ready for a motion. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I would move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to accept public comment on a proposed ordinance related to expanding the composition of the Board of Health as required by ESS HB 1152, adopting provisions consistent with Chapter 7005 RCW and Thurston County Code Chapter 207.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Munster?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to item 5B, set a public hearing for ordinance to amend Chapter 2.02.
Thank you, Madam Chair. RCW 36.32.0080, parentheses 1, requires the Board of County Commissioners to hold at regular meetings at the county seat to transact any business required or permitted by law. RCW 36.32.080, parentheses 3, authorizes the Board of County Commissioners as an alternative option to hold regular quarterly meetings outside of the county seat, but within the county, if the board determines by motion that holding a meeting as an alternate location will be in the interest of supporting a greater citizen engagement. RCW 36.32090 authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to hold the special meetings as provided in RCW 42.30080 at the county seat. In addition, the board is authorized to hold the special meetings outside of the county seat if the agenda items or items are of unique interest of concern of the citizens who are of that portion of the county. The board has adopted the time for holding the regular meetings in Thurston County Code 2.020, 2.02.020. The board has evaluated how it can continue to be more efficient and meet the needs of the public in conducting its business as a board and also as an individual commissioners who strive to be more responsive to their constituents. In order to efficiently and effectively conduct the ongoing business of the county, the board continues to find that is in the best interest of the citizens and the county to revise the current ordinance outlined at the meetings in which the Board of County Commissioners meet. This particular proposal has been in the works for a little bit over a year. And in fact, maybe early 2021, the board had a public hearing related to this particular ordinance. At that point, the ordinance was put on hold, so many other reasons, and I'm bringing this back for your consideration again with additional changes since last over a year ago. So the board discussed this a couple of weeks ago, and it was the desire of the Board of County Commissioners to have another public hearing since the last public hearing is over a year old, and this will provide the public another opportunity to provide feedback as to how the Board of County Commissioners meetings will be conducted as we move forward. And this particular item is for you to consider setting a public hearing for March 29, 2022 at 3 in the afternoon, or soon thereafter. The matter might be heard here at the courthouse campus for you to receive public testimony. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions?
Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay, and I don't have questions either. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, March 29, 2022 at 3 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to accept public comment on a proposed ordinance related to the regular, special, and other meetings of the Board of County Commissioners and amending Thurston County Code Chapter 202.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, now to Public Health and Social Services Department, item 6B, contract with Confluence Consulting Northwest for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Consultant. And I'll pass it on to Keely Marino.
Thank you, Keely Marino with Public Health and Social Services, here to present this awardee, the chosen consulting firm to provide diversity, equity, and inclusion services to our homeless crisis response system. In 2019, the Board of County Commissioners approved and passed the 5-year plan, the 5-year homeless crisis response plan. And within that plan was clear direction from the state that we must address racial disparity in our homeless crisis response system. We did create strategies, but in moving forward, in order to meet that requirement from the state of Washington, it was presented to the Regional Housing Council to set aside $150,000 of document recording fees of $2,163 to provide a consultation for our system to meet the strategies as and to vet the strategies as they are written in the 5-year plan. Moving forward, we created and issued a request for proposals. And in January, we had a review panel comprised of members of the homeless crisis response system with lived experience. They created their own scoring mechanisms based on the RFP requirements, and they met and determined that Confluence Consulting Northwest was the consulting agency, consulting firm that they wish to move forward with. This process over the next year would ensure that they're at the very minimum set in motion a steering committee specifically for the homeless crisis response system to ensure accountability in moving forward with strategies that will ultimately decrease the disparity of Black, Indigenous, and people of color experiencing homelessness in our system. So that is what we have before you. We're hoping for a decision today to move forward on approving the contract with Confluence Consulting Northwest to start this process.
Thank you. Are there any questions, Commissioner Edwards?
I will have discussion, I guess, when the time comes. How's that?
Commissioner Menzer?
No questions.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve a contract with Confluence Consulting Northwest to act as a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant for the Thurston County Homeless Crisis Response System for $150,000 and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contract and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
I'll second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, ma'am. I would hope that we would always treat people fairly, no matter who they are. And I believe that the Thurston County staff is a very compassionate group that will hold others to that high standard as well, should they see that not happening. And because of that, I would think that these dedicated funds could be reprioritized into other areas of need to serve these folks that have fallen on hard times. So that's my concern, is just reprioritizing, and I have faith in our own folks that they are doing a good job and will continue to do a good job. Thank you.
Commissioner Menzer?
I don't have anything. We've had comment or discussion at our various work sessions on this, and I'm not going to add anything here today.
Okay. And I've also made my comments previously. Okay. I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Nay.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Now on to Public Works. Item 7A, set a public hearing to consider the 2022 update of the Drainage Design and Erosion Control Manual. And I'll pass this to Shannon.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Shannon Peterson, Water Resources Utility Planner with Public Works. And I'm here today to request the board move to set a public hearing to accept and consider public comments on the 2022 update of the Drainage Design and Erosion Control Manual. The Thurston County Drainage Design and Erosion Control Manual acts as an enforceable document to address runoff from new development, redevelopment, and construction site projects in unincorporated Thurston County. Per the county's current Western Washington Phase 2 municipal stormwater permit issued by the Department of Ecology, updates to the drainage manual are required to be adopted and made effective no later than June 30th, 2022. Internal and external outreach efforts on the proposed update included postcard mailings to local engineering firms and the Olympia master builders, informational emails sent to the drainage manual subscription list, updates to the Public Works Drainage Manual webpage, which included first and second draft documents, a summary of changes, and online comment forms, and a virtual open house held via the Drainage Manual website. On February 3rd, 2022, a briefing was held to inform the board of the proposed updates to the Drainage Manual and next steps in the public engagement and adoption process. Updates to the Drainage Manual are consistent with the county's strategic plan and are in alignment with Initiative Number 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community, and Initiative Number 9 to support environmental health and climate stabilization. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. Shannon did a good job on presenting. Thank you.
Commissioner Menzer?
Good to go. Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to accept public comment on the proposed amendment to Section 1505010 of the Thurston County Code relating to administration and adoption of the 2022 update of the Drainage Design and Erosion Control Manual for Thurston County.
Second.
Oh,
Oh. Excuse
I'm
me.
sorry. I was out of it. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm good. Thank you.
It was just a reflex just to. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia.
Aye. Amy, it's hard to hear you.
Okay.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Shannon. We were all so excited about it. We all jumped to it. Okay, our next item, 7B, set a public hearing to consider a repeal of resolution 12083 and proposed resolution regarding speed limits on county roads. And Matt is here. I'll pass this to you.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Matt Hunselman. I reside in the basement of Building B, 9605 Philly Road. Public Works is requesting the Board of County Commissioners set a public hearing to consider updating criteria in regards to establishing and altering speed limits in Thurston County. Section 4 of Resolution 12083 states that the speed limit shall not be established below the lower limit of the 10-mile-per-hour base speed and or 5 miles per hour less than the 85th percentile speed. Now, I know that after our briefing a couple of weeks ago, you guys are traffic engineers, and you know that the 85th percentile speed is the speed that 85% of the vehicles are traveling at or below. And the 10-mile-per-hour pace speed is the 10-mile-per-hour range, which most vehicles are traveling at. So the current code limits the extent to which engineering judgment can be applied in addition to these two considerations. This is in contrast to federal and state law, where the 85th percentile and 10-mile-per-hour pace speeds are recommended considerations, and engineering judgment is not restricted. So engineering judgment would allow county staff to consider qualitative things such as if there's a strong collision history on a section of road, or if there's a sight distance problem, whether it be horizontal or vertical, or if there's a lot of pedestrian generators on the roads, i.e. a park or a school or something similar to that. So I want to make sure that we're county staff is still going to establish and evaluate speed limits using the 85th percentile speeds and 10-mile-per-hour pace speeds. We're just allowing for some additional use of engineering judgment to go along with it. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, Matt got it right. Good enough. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Commissioner Menzer?
No, thank you.
And I'm ready for a motion.
I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to accept public comment regarding the consideration to repeal Resolution 12083 and a proposed resolution updating criteria for establishment of and alteration to speed limits on Thurston County roads.
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
With that, we'll go to our standing items. Item 8A, commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards?
No, I think I'll just comment on constituent issues, which seem to be ongoing, having to do with land use issues and building permits and the virus that everybody is about ready to be over. That was most of my week. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer?
Well, as chair of the Board of Health, I took the initiative to do a detailed research and analysis of the Yakima County healthcare system last week. inside and out, all aspects. It's a similarly sized county, so I thought that would be appropriate for comparison. But I did have to, because of that, miss the meeting. And I did a number of interesting things the week before that I'd like to just touch on. I had a chance to attend the St. Martin's University presidents, like the forum for the new candidates to be president of the university, and meet a very, I don't know if she'll be successful, but I thought she was a pretty impressive candidate. So that's good that they had really good quality folks there. And there was great questions from the students and the staff. Attended a YWCA event on Saturday, the 2022 Women of Achievement Awards ceremony. Attended the STEADY meeting, South Thurston Economic Development. Attended the grand opening for the Timberland Regional Library has opened a Hawks Prairie satellite location, kind of in a commercial center there on the southwest corner of Martin and Marvin. And so there was a chance to kind of tour that and hear some remarks from the mayor of Lacey and the leadership of Timberland Regional Library. And then Commissioner Mejia was out that week, so I had a chance to cover a few things on her behalf, including canvassing board, intercity transit, which great to see those folks again, because I served for 2 years on that board. And they elected new officers there and gave a proclamation for an outgoing member, Carolyn Cox, who had served for a number of years. So that was nice to be part of. And the Three Cities meeting. So that was my week before last week where I was in Yakima. Thank you.
Thank you. And for me, last week was a very busy week. We had a Regional Housing Council meeting, which I'm actually going to fill the commissioners in on that meeting on our Thursday commissioner check-in. I did the Climate Action Steering Committee yesterday on behalf of Commissioner Menser, and there were a couple points that we're missing a signature from the county for meeting dates. So just a reminder that we need to get, and they said that that is on our county manager's desk. So I just want to make sure that we are aware of that and that we get that to them. And then March 11th, there was a support for a letter for the building council. And I got told that Commissioner Menser was in support of it. So I voted for it just because it aligned with our climate mitigation plan. And other than that, nothing much to update. There was a really good presentation and the slides were sent via email. I requested for those to be sent because I thought Commissioner Menser would probably like to view them. And I'm not sure if they got sent directly to you. I got them, but I can send those over. On Saturday, I went to the Olympic Arts and Heritage Alliance with the Howard family, and that was a pretty great day. It was a rainy day, but it was a great day. It was just a way to see how our heritage grant works, and once it's put into action with our decisions. So after that, Dr. Jackson released a new book. Dr. Thelma Jackson, I was there with the county manager. We missed each other. So I'm excited about the release of the new book. And then Wasac LLC, not much to report on that. I did do a tour of the Tenino Telephone Company, and I thought that was really great. I did a whole day Pack Mountain retreat on Thursday, and we came up with just basically planning for the next couple of years. And then I want to give a shout out to Nicole Miller. I attended the racial equity luncheon that she held for county staff last Wednesday, and I was just so happy to see how very well attended it was by county staff. And I think people are starting to be more comfortable and become engaged, but she did a great job. So I wanted to give her a shout out for doing that and getting county employees engaged. Other than that, that is all. With that, we'll move on to item 8B. The county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of March 1st, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me walk you through your combined schedule where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Nothing after this meeting this afternoon. Moving on to Wednesday, March 2nd, tomorrow. You have at 10:30 the opportunity to welcome new county employees to county government. Thursday, March 3rd, 9 in the morning, you have a budget work session. Seems like we just finished approving the budget in December. Here we are, budget work session to begin the process all over again. At 10, you have your regular commissioners check-in. An agenda has been posted with specific items. And at 1 in the afternoon, you have a 2-hour briefing related to the 2022-2023 preliminary docket public comment and proposals. Looking forward myself to that conversation. Moving on to Friday, March 4th, Commissioner Menser, Commissioner Mejia will be scheduled to be part of a district court hearing. And moving on, Monday, March 7th at noon, you have your standing Washington State Association of Counties virtual assembly. And then on Tuesday, March 8th, agenda setting at 9 in the morning, your regular Board of County Commissioners at 2 in the afternoon. And at 3 in the afternoon, you have a public hearing related to the operations of the Black Lake Special Use District. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Questions?
No questions, ma'am.
Okay. So with that, we have reached the end of our agenda, and I want to thank those who provided public comment today. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.